Hi, friends. Welcome back to Genuinely Curious. I'm your host, Shantiana Keys. And as you can see, I'm in a new set, which has like all of my favorite things around me and says things about me around the set. Okay. The only thing we're missing now is an intro. Like we need a song. So if anyone wants to give me a song, that'd be great. Otherwise, I don't even know how one develops a jingle for their podcast. So if you have any thoughts or ideas, let me know. But guys, I'm so excited to be back with y'all today and just yapping. Another solo episode. I'm currently burning up under the lights. I feel like we're in that like transitional period of the fall where it's like in Georgia it's hot, in the daytime, but then it's freezing at night. So you can go outside in the morning. You're like, oh gosh, it's frigid. It's 60 degrees. And then by the end of the day, it's 80. Actually, it was 90 yesterday. I walked out of my house. I went to lunch with somebody and I walked outside in a long sleeve, like Under Armour shirt, Under Armour sweatpants. And when I got there, he was like, oh, I got a table outside. I was like, well, that's not going to work today. So, yeah, we're just in that weird Georgia transition. It's hot. It's freezing. It's all the things. So I'm currently burning up in this thrifted button down that I got. So I have to just bear with that for the rest of the episode. But thanks for coming back and listening. Hopefully you enjoyed the last episode, me yapping, filling you in about my trip to Wilmington. This week we'll be talking about some pop culture stuff. There's a lot going on right now. There was not an actress. She's a singer. I think you pronounce it Loomis. I saw it on social media. She was on C-SPAN live, guys, singing the national anthem for a debate. And I'll be honest, I don't know for what debate. I know it wasn't the heavy hitters. It wasn't the presidential candidate. So I don't know. I don't know who it was for, but I know it was live. I know she was asked to sing the national anthem. And my girl got to one of the belting parts, the payoff points. And yeah, she fumbled the bag and she messed up, but then she started cussing and was like, oh crap, I messed up. Can we start over? And you can hear producer yell from the back, like, we are live. I mean, he says it fast. I mean, that's what producers have to do, but he's like, it's live. And so she just keeps singing and she messes up again. She's so, you could tell she's embarrassed in the middle, which I would have never. Once I messed up that first time, I cannot double back and try to explain it in the middle of the performance. Like I've got to do, operation, fix this problem after the fact. Okay. There's no recourse in the middle of this song. I cannot continue trying to tell you why this happened. Okay. So that was so unfortunate. And I feel like she's in the likes of like Fergie and some of the other terrible, national anthems. Not that these people are bad singers. I don't know. But I just mean it's going to go down as one of those like national anthem blunders. But for me, this one is probably even bigger because like who is the agent that didn't tell her she was live? Like who got fired? Somebody get fired, like Beyonce moment. And I know she's not Beyonce, but it's like, well, you got to let that person go because your agent didn't tell you, your assistant didn't tell you, your manager didn't tell you. Like somebody's got to go because that's ridiculous. But yeah, so, I hope good things for her. I hope her career's not over. But it's a viral moment. So I guess like go off, like I didn't know who Loomis was before this event and now I do. So maybe she is one. Another pop culture thing that just happened is Timothee Chalamet was just in Washington Square Park where he was at a Timothee Chalamet lookalike contest. And it seems to be something that people just threw together because there was a $50 prize. So I can't imagine it was like sponsored by anybody. They were carrying around this big old check that said $50. And it seemed to be just some young people coming together, trying to have some fun, looking like Timothee Chalamet. Some of them looked like some of them had the long curly hair, or like maybe they were like, and this is no shade, but like had that young boy kind of face, like skinny, slender, like a skinny guy with dark hair. And some of them, like, you could see it. It's like, I can see, like, if you're walking down the street, somebody probably goes, oh my God, like, who's your celebrity lookalike? And they'd be like, oh yeah, Timothée Chalamet. But you would never mistake them for Timothée Chalamet. No. And what's so funny is Timothée Chalamet showed up. He was in the crowd with a mask on, apparently. And people are saying he doesn't even look like himself, which is funny, actually, because he doesn't. He had like a, little mustache. I don't know if that's for a role right now or that's like his grown man vibe, but, and his hair is shorter, but he was towering over these guys. Like, and I don't know that Timothée Chalamet is like a 6-footer or anything, but he was towering over his lookalikes. And I thought that was funny. It's like, you look like Timothée Chalamet until Timothée Chalamet shows up. Okay. It's like, the car. I remember Cat Williams used to have this joke in his stand-up. It was like, yeah, it looks like Rolls Royce until a Rolls Royce pulls up, was it a Rolls Royce? Is that the joke? I don't think that's the joke. It's like Chrysler 300 and another car. What is that car? Chrysler 300 and a Phantom? I don't think it's a Phantom either. Okay, we'll look up the Cat Williams joke, y'all, if y'all are as desperate to find out as I am. I will Google it after the show. But yeah, Timothée Chalamet, I feel like my guy, I don't know. I feel like this might be like an existential crisis era of his. Like I don't know the real Timothée Chalamet. I mean, I don't know the man anyway, but from what I see, I feel like I'm always like a good people reader. And this whole like Kylie Jenner thing just does not line up with who I think he is. But also it could be because he is a young man who grew up in the 2000s. And like Kylie has been very popular and she's been this like coveted hot girl. So like, yeah, is he a basic boy who just like likes a girl like that? I don't know. And that's no shade to Kylie particularly, but she has done a lot of damage in my community and the community at large, like people, just in general, girls. So I usually don't speak too fondly of her, but I thought fondly of Timothée Chalamet. And frankly, now it's like, oh, you're not who I thought you were. But that man owes me nothing, like who am I to him? It does not matter. But shout out to Timothée Chalamet. Showing up at your own lookalike thing is very cool. He just like revealed himself. I think they had gotten a winner at this point. He revealed himself and people went crazy, of course. And it was already like pretty rowdy. Not rowdy. There's a bunch of kids standing around, but of course, Timothée Chalamet pops out of nowhere in New York City. People are going to take notice and they want pictures and all that stuff. And he had guards and stuff with him, but it was cool. Like it's a good viral moment. I'm sure he knew that going into it, like that was going to happen and just like flawlessly executed for sure. Let's move on. The WNBA championship parade was this past week. And they were doing all the things that champions do, smoking cigars. They had wine. They had champagne. They were riding through New York City. And I got to say, I have just been like very ambivalent about this championship because I just feel so scorned. And Minnesota wasn't my team, but I thought that they were going to pull it out. And I also thought, like what an underdog story for them to come back in that series, to get out to game 1 and then lose 2 games and then come back and battle, get a 4th or to win the 4th and then go to a 5th game in New York City and be in a place to win. And look, there are a lot of questions about the refs and the calls that were made because woof, there were some bad ones. Like Stewie traveled on that when she got fouled, the one to tie it to go into overtime. And look, Minnesota had all their chances. They had some possessions that they did not execute well enough, took bad shots. But that was egregious. A travel, and they bail her out with a foul that was not even there. I mean, you could argue it, but I don't think it was there. It was not enough on a game-winning play. Like, people usually get clobbered on game-winning plays, and sometimes they still don't call it. So, I don't know. The refs played too big of a role, in my opinion, but like, congratulations to the New York Liberty. Obviously, that is a championship for New York City. They were packing out the stands. People who believe in the scripts for professional sports, like, I really feel like they've got a point on this one. And I'm not the conspiracy theorist in that way, but they might have a little point there. But yeah, the WNBA is a little spicy here in the offseason already. The players are, they opted out of their CBA. So they're going back to negotiate now that there's more money coming in. They want a fair share of the revenue. And so I look forward to seeing what comes with that. Because the last time they got more money, they got more family building benefits, better health care. So you can only imagine it's going to go up from there. And that takes me actually, since we're talking about women in sports, I've been watching The Off Season. I'm on episode 2, and I'm going to do a longer episode with my friend Casey. So if you want to see that, I think it'll be on her YouTube, Casey Hutton, or excuse me, Casey on the Case, on all her social media platforms, particularly YouTube. But I enjoy it. It's like a mix of the real world and sports, women's sports particularly. Like they're all living in one house and they're training in the off season, preparing for preseason. And there's like, the older players, there's younger players, like players who are well paid, players who are not well paid, all in one house. And you're kind of like living with them. I don't know. It's really cool. I like this model of a reality TV show for sports. And I can't think of a show that was like this. So, kudos to them. Kudos to Alexis Ohanian. I think he's involved in it. And Midge Purse is an executive director. Executive director? Is that right? Executive producer. Those are the words. Those are the words we're looking for. But I've really been enjoying that. Something else I've been enjoying, of course, Golden Bachelor. I've been watching that. Hometowns are crazy. I think it's Chalk, Dan, Jordan, and Pascal, which like all these people are not people. They were none of my front runners. Chalk, I knew would make it in. And I think that's who she's going to pick. I don't think that they're going to make it. So, and if they are together, like, oh my God, I'm so happy for you. But I just don't know if they're going to make it. Like Chalk, there's something strange about the man. Like, I don't know if it's possessive. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what it is. I haven't put my finger on it, but I don't like it. Not that I don't like him. I just not digging the vibe. And I don't think he's the right vibe for Joan. But Joan did pick really poorly for Hometowns. And I don't mean that in a bad way. Joan, girl, love you. Y'all know I got to meet her. That was so great. But girl, like Jordan, Mark, who was the other person? Keith, like all the front runners I had, I've never been more wrong about a bachelor choice ever. And that's crazy. And I haven't finished this week's, so I don't know who she eliminated. But for the record, I'm going to go and say she didn't pick Jordan. Okay, so next week I'll follow up and let you know if I was right. I mean, if I was right already. You could Google it right now because it already happened several days ago. I've avoided all spoilers. Another thing I'm watching, Dance with the Stars. Y'all know I love that. Joey's doing really well. Bachelor Nation is always going to come through. But he has been a really good dancer. People are a little salty though that he's getting such high scores. I think he's doing really well. I think he's taken the judges' criticism, but I also know that Chandler's the best dancer on the show. But she was a dancer before this, so I think they do penalize people a bit when they have dance experience. But I think, and I think back to like Charlie D'Amelio's season where, I mean, her dances, a lot of them were phenomenal every single week. So she deserved a lot of great scores. I don't know that Chandler's as great of a dancer as her, but she's a really, really good dancer, like far better than anybody else on the show. So I don't know. We'll see if that turns around and she gets a fair shake at the Mirror Ball. But with Bachelor Nation and some of the judges' scores not counting as heavily anymore, I was watching Lindsay Arnold talk about it, that the judges' scores don't matter as much anymore. Like they can't save the bottom two or the person in the bottom two. And so they want the fans to kind of vote. So now that is the case, we're going to have more like Bobby Bones situations where Bobby Bones could not dance a lick, but that country music fan group, they will show up. Another thing that I'm watching, I watched The Lincoln Lawyer, and it was okay. It was probably a 7 out of 10. Like if you have time, watch it. And that's basically how I've been doing it the last week, is like, if I have time, I turn it on. I want to know what happens, how the show ends. But like, it wasn't phenomenal. I think the first season was better. But would recommend just taking a look. Also, another thing that I've been watching, even just on social media, I've had two instances where Ariana Grande has been the topic of discussion. And one was Cynthia Erivo, who's in Wicked with Ariana Grande, who was talking on House Guest and was saying like she's a musical genius and she's brilliant and she's intelligent when it comes to music. And she was just this great co-star. She would like edit their vocals. And Cynthia says that Ariana was the only person she trusted to edit her vocals or make choices stylistically for her. And I thought that spoke highly of her. But then I saw someone on my For You page that was like, oh, if you haven't seen Ariana Grande in the studio layering her vocals for positions, then you need to watch it. And like, I'm a process person. And so I love, watching how a song is written or made. Like, anything of like how the thing gets done, I'm all about. So I went and watched it. It was like 6 minutes of like spectacular vocal layering. I loved every second of it. But she's legitimately like a musical genius. One of her producers also said that too, or co-writers said like she's a musical genius. And you can tell that by just watching her. And I don't want that to be like, oh, like, other people like do their own vocals and produce and set a table. Listen, that one is a skill set of its own, but her ear and those type of things and being able to ad lib and pick the choices and the notes and the harmonies and stuff. Like, there is musical genius in that. There's no question. Same. I was watching some video with Baptiste. What's his first name? Goodness. It's not Eric. John Baptiste. And he was like freestyling to songs he hadn't heard. It was like Green Day. And he was on the piano just playing. And it's like that level of musicianship that I'm talking about. It's like, you can kind of ad lib on the spot. You can build harmonies. I think Billie Eilish is really good at this. Beyonce is incredible at this. And not every artist has that. And I think she should get her flowers. And I'm sick of like, why were we talking about who she's dating or in her personal life when this person is like a legitimate prodigy? Like, she was on Broadway as a kid. She's been able to sing and belt the way that she has like for most of her life. She's obviously been an actress. And I just feel like what are we talking about? Like, why is that something that I didn't know until this week? Like, that should be the selling point. And I knew like the whole like bubblegum aspect of her career is not all of who she is. I watched her on The Voice, and when she was able to like poke fun at herself and her lyrics, I was like, oh, okay. Like, she knows she could be deeper, but she also knows this is pop music and this is what sells. And she tucks in like the meaningful things in other songs that may not be like the singles. So I knew she was talented and I knew she was great at music, but I didn't think like genius level, like perfect pitch level, like finding all the harmonies and building. I wouldn't be surprised if she can't write music, like write sheet music, like that level of skill. And I don't think pop stars typically do that. Actually, it's not a think. Pop stars don't typically do that. Like, think of your favorite artist. They probably don't do that. And again, I'm not counting Billie Eilish. I'm not counting Beyonce. There are, Charlie Puth. Like, and Charlie Puth is a hard one to put in that. But like, your typical pop stars are not doing that level of labor. Taylor Swift has a reputation of being able to write songs. But I do, I don't know. Somehow this seems like a different thing. This seems like a Dolly Parton, same thing, like incredibly good at writing songs, but I don't know if she was building the music. I don't know. It just feels like a different level of artistry that Ariana is doing. I don't know how to better explain that, and I'm probably wrong, but that is how I feel today. So if anybody knows anything different, you let me know. But I'm just upset we didn't know more about that. More on my life, though. This week I got to see Barack Obama, former President Barack Obama, in person, like 30 feet from me. at a Harris rally that I didn't even know I was going to several days before. Shout out to my friend Tom. He got us tickets and we got this like preferred seating. I mean, it was a walk. It was a hike to get there, but it was like the payoff was phenomenal. It was on a football field. So we were like sitting on turf. I think I ended up walking 7 miles. That was not cool. That part was not cool. But to see Obama, like that made it all worth it. You know, like I do it 10 times over. He is majestic, y'all. I'd never seen him in person, never even gotten close to him. So to hear him as an orator, it was crazy. Everybody else on the mic like had a hard time kind of projecting, and we couldn't hear them because we were right in front of them and the speakers were so far from us in this like high school stadium. But y'all, when I tell you this man is, I hate to use the word genius again, like he is special. I mean, we know that. We know that's why he even got elected in 2008, but phenomenal. I mean, I thought I was going to cry. I didn't cry. I did cry during Tyler Perry's speech though. So shout out to Tyler Perry because it was phenomenal. And he was talking about how he built his studio on a place that used to be for the Confederate Army. And now he's built the studio on it. And I love that for him. I love that for me. I love that for all of us in Georgia. But he was phenomenal too. I was like, are you running for some sort of office, sir? He of course is not. But he was great. And I think he made a lot of great points. He sold a lot of ideas. And then Obama came on. And like I said, like blown away. Could listen to it on repeat. So good. And then Kamala Harris came out again, so close to her, like hopefully our next president, but she was just so close. She was great. They kind of did like a lap right past our area. So I've got like these crazy videos of them. And I just feel like somebody's old grandma who, you know, has like the Martin Luther King photo or the Obama. Actually, I do have an Obama photo in my living room, like very large, 16 by 20. And I love that photo. It's the Kehinde Wiley presidential portrait, which again, love that. It's in my living room. So this was a big deal. This was a huge deal. We ran into a guy who was like, I dapped up Obama, like, and he even showed us a video. He was that excited. We did not know this man, but like, shout out to him. Congratulations to him. I was so happy for him. All right. I think we've covered, oh no, Beyonce and Kelly at the Harris rally the other day. Beyonce looked phenomenal. Kelly looked phenomenal. They came out. Their mics weren't working necessarily, but you know, Houston doesn't care. Houston just wanted to see Beyonce. We didn't know if she was going to sing. I definitely thought she was going to sing. And I don't know if they had plans to sing because like I said, they came out with 2 mics, like 2 wireless mics. And then they went to where the teleprompter was at the podium. So I'm not exactly sure what the game plan was. And maybe we missed a little 2-part harmony and we'll never get to see it. But I also think that they were there to give a speech. Like they wanted their hometown to know, like, we got things to fight for. Because, I mean, Texas is a place where women have lost rights before this. But yeah, so we really enjoyed Beyonce, and I can only imagine had I gone to, we had Bruce Springsteen at our rally. Like, can you imagine if Beyonce was 30 feet from me? 30 minutes. Like, can you imagine 30 feet from me? I don't think I would have been well. Like, I really genuinely think I might have passed out right there on the floor, just right there on the turf. There were so many times people were like, medic, like we would need a medic. Please bring me water, bring me all the sustenance, because I would not have made it. But all in all, like a pretty solid week. The thing that I'm genuinely curious as we wrap up this episode that I'm curious about is, are they bots on social media or are they actually men? Because like half the time there's no posts, you know what I mean? And then sometimes you go there's 0 posts, there's 0 followers, and you're like, surely no one made this burner, and there's like no connection anywhere. And there's no photo, or there's a photo of a cat. Like, do we think they are men? And I say that as somebody who is incredibly critical of men because, you know, they have just proven to, as a whole, be trash so often, you know, because of the patriarchy, that I'm like, every time I turn around, I'm like, okay, there's a man commenting under my post. And I hate when they find my like women's sports content. It's the worst. Like I have one video right now, and I wouldn't even say it's like popping or anything, but I can see the notifications right now. They just keep coming in, and I guarantee it's a man. Actually, let's look. Let's see. Clark got her fired. Just sad. Oh, that's Regina. Never mind. Okay, let's find a man. The most successful season to date and still lost approximately 40 million? Girl math at its finest. And that's from One Iron Baby. How many followers do we think he has? Take a guess right now. Are you ready? 2 followers. 0 posts. Following 425 people. Photo is of a golf club. You see what I'm saying? Like, are they bots or are they men? And my money is on men. They are probably actual men. And these men get to vote. That's what's scary. These men are on the dating apps. These are the men you are going out on dates with. Like, what is life? Like, in this economy, you want me to date a man? Like, it is crazy. Anyway, I just wanted to ask that question. Do you think they're bots or are they men? Let me know in the comments. All right, y'all, this was a great episode. And I say great as in I had a good time. Not necessarily that is a great quality episode, but I hope you think that. If so, maybe leave a couple of comments or some stars or something. I don't know how you do it on Apple or Spotify, but thanks for being here. And welcome to the new set. And hopefully you'll be coming back for more and seeing this more often. All right. Okay, bye.